Hey everybody, welcome back. Continuing through my top 100 as of 2025. Um, Today we're doing 90 to 81. A couple of new games to list. Is there? Wait, actually, no. No. Oh, no. There are a couple of new games to list. I've screwed up my internal highlighting there. Regardless, without further ado, let's get to it. Number 90 is the game Mariposas. This was 69 last year. It was 40 the year before that. With new games added to the list, it's basically the same. I really like this game. This is from Elizabeth Hargraves, wow, I'm holding it upside down. This is really going to trigger Rich. Elizabeth Hargrave, who also did Wingspan, of course. This is my second favorite of her games. There's one more higher than this. In this game, you're playing as butterflies, and you start down in Mexico, and then you fly up to North America, like the monarch butterflies, that is. And then you score points being in various different spots at the end of each of the rounds. Some people think the board's a little busy. Maybe it is, but I think it looks kind of neat. I famously hate butterflies, but like this game. That's number 90, Mariposas. If you ask me why I hate butterflies, it's because they're moths in disguise, and I absolutely hate moths. Gross. Number 89 was number 68 last year, so it's maintained the same spot with Mariposas, and this is Trails. Trails is the small version of Parks. I really like Parks too. It's not on the list, but I really like it. In Trails, you're just kind of like going down a little path and then coming back up the little path. And yeah, it's a very quick, simple game, kind of sweet. Also, I was able to get the realistic resources on Amazon because they were on massive sale at one point, which is why you should always subscribe to the Hot Deals forum on Board Game Geek. Look at those cute little things. I don't know how well you can see it because I'm not looking at the camera, but that's a little acorn. It's nice. Better than the little cubes that I had. So I got to play it with the realistic resources. And maybe it'll go even higher just because, the toy factor. That's number 89, Trails. Number 88 is new to the list. It was a new game last year. It was a lot of people's number one game of the year. Not mine, but I really like it. It's really great, and maybe it will go higher, and this is Arx. So Arx is a space epic game with a format of kind of a trick-taking game, but it's really not. It's not like it kind of has trick-taking, kind of doesn't. Really what Arx is just crazy. It's insane. The special abilities that you can acquire are so incredibly good. The things that you're scoring points for are changing round to round, and they are kind of determined by the players, but you need to be the one who's leading to choose that. And if you do that, then you're absolutely going to lose the lead. It's from later games, and their productions are just so beautiful. This is Kyle Farron's artwork, of course. Cole Worley's the designer, same team behind Root, but sci-fi now. Also, Kyle Farron's art here especially really reminds me of Bill Peet, or at least whoever did the illustrations for the Bill Peet books when I was a kid, which are fantastic. Anyway, I need to play this game some more because the other thing about Arx is I think I've only played it once at this point. The other thing is there is a campaign that you can play again and again and again with the expansion, which I also have and haven't cracked open. And the campaign is like 3 games that you play, and you get special abilities over the course of them, and your roles like evolve, and different things happen to the board that permanently change it for the following game or games. Sounds really cool. Got to give it a try. Anyway, that's Arx. Really hoping to get this to the table more in the future. Number 87 is kind of a flippin' right. It's really not. I guess I classified it as that. It was 65 last year. This is my highest Elizabeth Hargrave game. This is The Fox Experiment. Currently, I think Amy's number 1 game. The Fox Experiment is this game where you are breeding foxes for traits of friendliness. And the reason why I say it's kind of a flip and right, kind of not, is because when you flip over the cards, you're writing on the cards, but it doesn't really have a lot of the hallmarks of a roll and write or flip and write game. Instead, it's very much a dice game where you're rolling a bunch of these dice and then combining them in different patterns to increase the scores of your foxes, make them friendlier and friendlier. Really great game. Finally won it because I'm not very good at the game, because I usually ignore the studying Who needs it? And then I was like, let me try a game where I do studying really heavily, and I did, and I won. So that might be a tip for my future strategy. Anyway, number 87, The Fox Experiment. Number 86 is a game that I was playing a lot for a little while there, and then kind of tapered off a bit, but it's still really good. New to the list, this is Rauha. I believe Vanessa taught me this game actually. And then I played it a lot with Amy and Marianne and Sarah. I played it with some other people. In this game, you are drafting cards, and you are you have this grid that's like a 3x3 grid, and you're placing the cards in that grid. And then your little piece travels around the outside, and each round after you play a card, it's going to trigger, or each turn, it's going to trigger all the ones that are in front of it. So if it's here, it'll trigger all those. If it's here, it'll trigger all those. And so you're upgrading your board over the course of the game and trying to get the ordering right so that you can get control of these special powers and just score the most points by the end. Love good drafting game. This is one of them. That's 86, Rauha. Number 85 was 70 last year. This is one of my go-to small, quick games. This is Marvel Remix. In Marvel Remix, you are building a hand of cards. So you start with a hand of cards. I think it's 7. And then on each turn, you're drawing a card and discarding a card. And that's it. You can either draw them from the deck or from the middle where other people put their discards. It can go really quick because once there's 10 cards face up in the middle, game's over. The theme is fun, especially if you like Marvel, in that you're kind of making your own Marvel movie, kind of. And there's lots of interesting little combos. You'll be like, oh, I'm going to go with this game. And then something else comes out, and you're like, no, that's going to be amazing. So you're changing your hand. It is based on Fantasy Realms, which I have played. I prefer this one. That is number 85, Marvel Remix. Number 84 was 63 last year. It was 41 before that, and 40 before that. This is a great 2-player game. This is Seven Wonders Duel. Seven Wonders Duel, the big news with this one, of course, is that there is a new Lord of the Rings version, where it's like Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth or something like that. I haven't played it yet. I hear it's amazing. I'll play it. They'll probably replace this one because that's what everybody says, but like it doesn't need to be replaced. It's so good. The theme is the same as Seven Wonders, which will be higher on the list, but it is a 2-player drafting game, and it's kind of using Pyramid Solitaire as a background, like as an underlying thing here. In that when you take a card, you're going to uncover another card that your opponent could draft. So sometimes you'll be like, ooh, I really don't want to go now, or I don't want to take that card that I actually need, because if I take that card, that's going to give them a card that's even better. 2-player only, very like kind of high interaction despite having no direct aggression, and that's something I really like in my 2-player games. Seven Wonders Duel. Number 83, I do not own. It's new to the list, and this is Coloretto. I will probably pick up a copy of this at some point because it's really good. Brad and Jenny taught me this, so shout out to Brad and Jenny. It is a game where you are collecting these different color cards, and you want to get a certain number of them because if you get, the more of them, the more of a color that you get, the more points you score. But you only score for, it's either your 2 highest or your 3 highest colors, and all the other ones are negative points, which is just like such a simple but mind-blowing rule in that you are trying to engineer it so you are getting as many cards of the kinds that you want and not at all getting the cards that you don't want. There was a larger game that was based on this called Zularetto, which I have as well. I like Zularetto. Coloretto, though, just distills it down to the most interesting part, which is setting up those little groups of cards that you have to take, and you're really trying to maneuver it so that you only take cards that you want, and it just doesn't work out, and it's great. That's number 83, Coloretto. Number 82 is another game I don't own, which, side note, those are becoming fewer and fewer on these top 100 lists as my collection starts to align more with my tastes. Number 82 is Brass Birmingham. This was 26 last year, so it's quite a drop. It was 83 the year before that when I think just started playing it. So Brass Birmingham is rated number 1 on Board Game Geek, and I can see why. It's a great game. It is one of those games that The more you play it, I think the more you see the intricacies to it and the different strategies. And it can be hard if you only play it once in a very great while, as I do, to really get the most out of it. But even so, it's so good. Um, there's the theme is you are building industry in like the Industrial Revolution in Britain. And a really interesting thing actually in the game actually is that there's two phases or two halves of the game. And in the first half, you're playing with the canals, and then at the end of that, like most of your stuff on the board disappears, but a few things stay. And then you play kind of the same game, but everything's a little bit more expensive now, and you have a little bit of stuff to start from for the working to start working from. So it's kind of two different games. This is also one of those games where like money management is super important, and you can and have to go into debt in order to have the capital just needed to run your engine. Um, the reason why it's down here at 82 is just like there are so many games in this medium heavy Euro category that I love more. The top 10 at this point is filled with medium heavy Euros. And like, I mean, most of the top 20 is that. Like, it's like 15 of them or something like that. So I find this one harder to want to play, but it's just an ingenious game. Like there's so much, but not ingenious. That's a different game. There's so much going on. That is Brass Birmingham. Number 81, and the last one for the day is a deck builder, the only deck builder in this 10. And that's Dale of Merchants. It was 61 last year. Yeah, really like this game. Finally picked it up. I didn't have it last year, but Games Unlimited had some of it sitting out. And I think I was there with Matthew, and he bought me a copy. So shout out to Matthew. Played this recently with Abby and Jen and Melissa. And yeah, I really like Dale of Merchants. It feels completely different than every other deck builder, which is not necessarily a good thing because I love deck builders. But like this one is so fast, and you are absolutely having to destroy your deck in order to finish first. It's a race to 8, basically. But in order to get those 8 points, you need to be playing your cards out of your deck completely in order to score those points. So unlike most deck builders where you're trying to get up like a good combo of cards in your hand, in this one you're continually destroying your combo and creating a new combo in order to make that happen. There's also just a bunch of different decks for it. I only have this Dale Merchants 1, but there's also 2 and 3, and I have like a promo pack. But yeah, like the aesthetic of it too. It's a good fun deck builder. That's number 81, Dale of Merchants. And that is it for this 10. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these games. And yeah, hopefully I'll get another one of these out soon. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.